Nice. It was nice. I actually like the snow. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna
It
go ice
snowed on
skating.
Halloween, right?
Was
I
I
think because
here
my
on
cousin lives in
Halloween?
Chicago, and I don't know if you. Oh, you know what?
What was I doing
Was
on
it Halloween?
Halloween? October 31st. What day was that? That was a Thursday?
That was like a Thursday.
I
That
don't
sounds
know.
right.
Was I
I
in
think so.
town? I might have been traveling. I'm not sure.
Sunny, what do you
Oh,
want?
I'm so excited.
Is this
I can go
bugged
ice
out?
skating. The ice skating ring's open here now.
I love it.
It's free. You just have to rent ice skates. So my
Have
mind
you
is like, should I just
have you
buy
done
ice
an
skates?
Have you gone on ice skating dates at all?
No,
I w-
that's my
I
goal for
I
this
always wanted
winter.
to go on like an ice skating date.
Right? It's perfect.
Yeah,
If I
that's
can't
like
skate, she
movie
can help
esque.
me, and if she can't skate, I can help her.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
physical contact.
Seriously, I gotta do it like this.
yeah.
We gotta be wearing winter clothes.
Woo! Layers. Love it.
Gosh.
Always picturesque. Ready for pictures. All times.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
That was nice.
They have this thing called Chris Kindle here. It's like a German winter festival. They like set up tents in like a block, and they
Right.
serve like hot cocoa
Oh,
and
sounds-
hot apple cider, and they have hot wine.
Oh, hot apple cider
Yes,
is so fucking
I had
good.
that. So wait, we're not live or anything, right?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm trying to be live, but
Oh,
we'll
okay.
see. I know we should be live on Twitch. My YouTube is bugging
Oh,
out, so I'm not sure
Never mind.
Oh, we are live on Twitch now.
what's going
Oh.
on there.
We'll talk about it.
Just don't
later.
name drop. That's it.
Is it very contraband?
I would say it's not contraband, but it's definitely sensitive information. Relax, relax.
But
Chill
so
out.
you've had it before.
I have had it before. It was delicious.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
it was good. I was
Especially
like,
when it's cold.
it is cold. Yeah,
It is good. It
it
is
didn't
good.
take anything away. I was just like, oh, I mean, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Kona, you piece of monkey! I'm about to kick you out of this room.
You have another dog?
It's my roommate dog. You remember James, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's James's dog. And
Oh,
she's like,
nice.
So is that
I'll
all I
show
need
you.
to do, and then we actually get live?
It's Kona.
Oh, dang. She is comfy.
I know. Kona,
Or he.
chill out. They're both girls. And
Oh,
they're
is that?
sunny.
Wait, does she have blue eyes?
No, that's just the way that it's reflecting. She looks like a demon. They're sunny.
Oh, man.
Yes, sunny. Alright, there you go.
We have a word from our audience that someone has bats in the cave. What's up with the downward angle?
Bats in the cave. What does that mean?
I don't know. Ask him.
Oh, me?
I don't think.
I don't know who that relates to.
I think this guy's just a troll.
Like, I got my green screen. It's not on. You want me to make it a bat cave? Huh. I have no idea. So, I'll have to mess with this later. Maybe I should do a
No
dual
YouTube today?
stream. Yeah, I'm not sure, cause before it had gone live for like maybe like 20 seconds, and then it like broke down. So I'm not sure.
So the pre-show is basically us setting up all of our technical difficulties, getting through that, warming up in the conversation, all that stuff. Which is what Mark's working on right now. He's trying to get us on YouTube. It's not working.
Maybe I just set it up manually.
Do you have us on another device as well? On your phone or something?
Yeah, I have the. Why, can you hear it?
You should probably mute it.
Yeah, I can a little
Yeah,
bit.
we can definitely
Oh.
hear it.
Are you watching the stream? I feel like
Yeah, I wanted to see how it looked.
How do we look? We look pretty good.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Nice.
So this is on. Where's my?
How do I mute this?
On your phone. Is it your phone?
How do I mute this thing?
You just gotta find the volume dial and
Oh,
slide all the
sure.
way to the left.
That works.
Oh Jesus, which one?
It
is
says
this?
live. I got a notification on YouTube that we're live streaming, but
Yeah, I don't know which. Because I have like two of them, so I don't know which one is actually like. up.
We're trying to fudge the numbers, Robo-Dobo. Be cool, man.
That's not it.
Did you get your MRI yet?
Oh, for shoulder?
I bet he didn't.
It says we're on live on YouTube.
What is up with
Where's my
Asians
link?
not going to doctors?
Well,
Like,
I don't
so
have
many
health
of them are in
insurance.
healthcare,
So,
but not many of them go to doctors. Isn't that weird?
yeah.
Yeah. And,
That's
and we're like
I think
all
that's kind of
in
why
healthcare
though, right?
background.
Where they're just like, "Oh, I work at a hospital. I know what I'm doing."
Oh, wait, 1 sec. I think Kona's owner is home.
Fucking nurse. Hey, you're a fucking nurse, you're not a fucking doctor.
I didn't know if you were running or not. Because I was
Yeah,
calling
but
you, and I was
don't
like,
nurses
"Yo,
do
you..."
all the work?
Yeah, I'm in a podcast.
Man, I got
If
you.
would like to-
Robo-Dobo.
if you would like to
we all
log
know.
in and watch.
We all know that the nurses do all the work. The doctors
Come
are
here,
just
Sonny.
there
I
for
know
the
you're gonna
title.
yell.
Well, that sounds dumb. Why isn't everyone a doctor then?
Because
I'm
it
just
takes a lot of
kidding.
work.
I'm being
That shit's
ignorant.
hard.
Ah.
That shit's hard.
You know what else
That
takes
shit's
a lot of
hard.
work, apparently? Being a nurse.
Hell yeah, that shit's hard too.
I don't know. From what I've heard from some good nurse friends of mine.
Yeah, I heard some.
The main character in Scrubs.
I heard some nurses have it easy.
Holy shit. Carla and Nurse Roberts.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
So I don't know where my YouTube link is. Maybe I just go to my channel and just see. No, it keeps popping on and off. So unfortunately, no YouTube tonight. I could
No
dedicate
YouTube
it.
tonight.
I think I have to. I don't know why it keeps going on and off. I think. We'll see. I can
No
dedicate
YouTube
it.
tonight.
Oh, I lied. It's on. So I have the link. Here we go. Because we are actually on, because there actually isn't a bad delay. Because it just got to the point where Matt, you're like, no YouTube tonight. I was like, oh well.
Wait, is it a different one?
It is a
That's weird.
different one because the first one I thought bugged out, so I made a second one. So this one is actually live. So this one. Okay, I have to exit this. I posted in our private chat. So you guys can try to send it out. My computer's literally dying as I'm trying to do this, so I'm gonna try to get it out. I forgot that I have my social media shit go off too. For my restream. I haven't used this in a while.
What are you drinking, David? Whiskey? Nice. On the rocks?
Mm.
Nice.
Okay, so this should be the proper link. Okay.
Ooh.
Yes, I got
see.
that on Twitter. Okay. I guess I should edit it on Facebook
I
too,
will
right?
post
on
Twitter.
Will Facebook load for me properly? Yeah, I guess I should get rid of the old link, right? Uh-oh. Are you guys talking or no?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Oh,
Just want to make sure. I thought my computer was like bugging out. I was like, uh-oh, I think I've just lost all audio.
Ooh. All right, David. I have a question for you.
yeah.
Just for fun. If you could go back in time and give advice to yourself when you were FSA president, what 3 things would you tell them? Tell him.
3 things?
Tell you. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I guess just so I don't overthink it.
Mm.
There.
Okay. One would be not to procrastinate as much as you can. It would just save a lot of stress.
But do you think you would actually listen to that?
I don't know. See, this is stuff I would tell myself. I've been telling myself not to procrastinate for years, though. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. You tell me. Yeah, I've been doing that for years, and I'm holding it off.
Still doing it.
Do that shit tomorrow.
A really good one I would say is you can't make everyone happy, and that's okay. And then I honestly, I would tell myself, like, I know it sounds kind of weird to say, but it sounds kind of not me in a way, but I would say, like, don't take it too seriously, I guess. Like, in a sense, like...
Oh, by being president?
Well, it's just like, I remember that used to be my life. Like, it was like, well, not in a bad way. I think it's just more like, one of the things I realized after that, chapter is, there's more things to life. And, like, I really appreciate everything, we went through and stuff. I don't know. At the end of the day, that was just one of those things. Like, I think the reason why it was so hard, like, let go of it in this sense was just because that was all I was so in it kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think we did a good job. So I don't know if that was like one of the double-edged swords of it. Like, you commit, man, you're committed.
You like give part of your soul away to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that made it so fun. I guess those would be the three things.
That's pretty good. I feel like that resonates with me. I'm in my current organization. They have like an Asian org, like
really?
employee group sort of thing.
Love it.
And my mind was just thinking, like, man, in college I like lived and died for this shit. Like now I can't even make time for it.
Yeah, it's just like, well, that's what I meant by the thing where it's like, don't take it too seriously in the sense that there's other things.
Yeah.
But I think it's also different, like, being in that, like, position, like, being president of that org.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna end up, like, it's like your responsibility. Like, you're, like, the face of, like,
I
the organization. So I feel like it does tend to, you tend to want to devote, 100% of your time to it.
This is true.
Yeah, you're right.
Like compared to me, where it's like I'm a member, like it's like, it's cool, but I'm never gonna have to put like 100% towards this organization, right?
Right. The responsibility aspect of it isn't there as much.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bejamis.
Yo.
All we did as staycation was just lift.
That's a staycation.
That's all we did.
Just make sure when you guys are lifting that you're not doing anything else after it that would put you in danger of hurting yourself.
Oh my god, you and BJ, like I'm trying to get to like I deadlifted 315, and every time BJ's like, just be careful, Mark. I'm like, god damn, I'm trying to get fucking hype. I can't get hype if you're like, be careful, dude. I'm like, fucking shit. Records aren't broken by being fucking careful.
Someone told me, I think someone said that. It's like, aren't we supposed to like break through our limits? I'm like, yeah, you break through your limits and then you're broken. You can't break through any more limits.
It's proof, man. It's like fucking Asta. He broke his limits and then he couldn't use his arms anymore because he got cursed.
Yeah.
But then you just have to find a witch doctor to heal your fucking arms.
Stop! Wait, I haven't caught up.
You're that far?
Yeah.
You got a lot.
Because it came out so. They were just like pumping them out. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's a weekly fucking show.
I know, man. Well, I know. But... I thought it was gonna be like a 24-1.
Like take breaks and stuff.
Yeah, like season. They come back in next spring or a year from now.
BG, you got a point, man. Can't make gains with a broken back. But like I said, man, breaking those barriers, you don't fucking climb over them with grace. You fucking run through them, Kool-Aid Man style. You overpower your mind, break through the wall. You gotta watch some fucking strongman shit, man.
When you do the YouTube live,
cool, baby.
Are you able to are people commenting there also, or?
They can.
Oh shoot.
I do. Was it? Because I have like a chat program that lets me monitor both, so it'll show up if someone's on the YouTube
Okay.
chatting it up.
Oh, dope.
It should, unless it's bugged.
I just wrote something on there to test it.
Yeah. I see
Oh,
there. Uh-oh, my encoding's overloaded. Okay, so I may not. We'll see. We'll test this out for tonight, and we'll see how it goes. I may have to just do like a full transition to YouTube. I think the only thing I don't like about YouTube is that since they changed it where you have to have like a name unless you're like an organization, is very like personalized for like comments and stuff. I think that's why I kind of like Twitch, because you can just like you can make like
Log
accounts
in.
and just like no one may know like what your username is,
Mm.
or you can just say like, hey, this is me, by the way.
Ooh.
I kind of like the non-anonymity. I
Be
think
like,
it
I heard
allows
what you
people.
said.
Yeah. So then you can't hide behind a mask.
Come
If
at
you
me,
wanna say
bro.
something, you have to live with it.
Like everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
I
That's
feel
like
like
where
that's a
the.
huge thing.
I'm waiting for
So
all these
maybe we
trolls
do
to come
fully
out.
switch to YouTube,
Yeah. I mean, I
and
think
we get
that's-
people's first and last names, and then we call them out.
You have addresses.
Yeah. I mean, like, and they call us out too. And they're proud of it. They're like, yeah, this is my name, bitch. Remember. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh,
This guy's
fuck.
pissed.
Be like, what's his name? Oh, there it is. First, last. Gotcha.
What was the name of that girl that beat us in that YouTube competition, Mark? Do you remember her name?
Don't bring that back, man.
I can't remember her fucking name.
I don't. I can't think.
I'm glad I
like,
forgot.
I'm trying to think of like some of like the whitest white girl names I could think of.
We did a YouTube competition where it was like prepare a hurricane preparedness.
Jenny Monroe! You fucking bitch! I'm done. I'm walking away. Podcast is canceled. I'm done.
It was like for $1,000.
Oh,
So we
really?
like made a YouTube video about like preparing for hurricanes. It was like kind of funny.
Oh, I remember this, like an old time, like a long
Yeah,
time ago.
yeah. It
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
us
yeah.
versus one other person that took the competition.
Really?
Her name was Jenny Monroe. I mean, our video was so much better than hers.
No, that sucks.
But we ended up losing.
Yours was funny. It was like battery.
We got
More battery.
we got disqualified. Because
Really?
our friend posted in like the League of Legends forums. He was like, "Hey, if you like my friend's video on YouTube, I'll do a random giveaway for a $10 RP card, which is like cash currency."
Yeah.
And then
And you're not allowed to
they
give
ended
away
up
cash
finding
currency.
it. They ended up finding it, and then they reported that.
They didn't find it. Someone reported it to them. One of Jenny Monroe's agents, probably one of her lieutenants. Fuckers.
Freaking white
It
people.
wasn't
man.
in the rules.
They don't.
It didn't say anything in the rules that you can't do shit like that.
Oh, I
Just
get.
saying.
It's fine. It was years ago.
We
Honestly, I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I honestly, I was like, I mean, I'm appreciative that he's willing to support me like that, but I had no part to play in this.
That was
Oh, we
funny
got
though.
DQ'd.
That was funny.
It was.
That was
it
a good move.
times.
I think that was. I think if we didn't do that, we would have lost.
You should have done that for. You should have done that for Jenny's video.
Sabotage.
Oh my God.
Dang. That would have been funny.
And we just post in the League forum and on her video be like, "Hey Jenny, I did this for you. Hope you win." You fucking bitch. You shitty video.
He's probably really nice.
I didn't learn
She
shit from
probably
her
was really
video.
nice.
All I heard was the fucking wind. I used real microphones for my shit. I had quality production. I wrote that shit down. I wrote all the sketches. I couldn't spell preparedness.
That was funny.
I did
You
that
ate
live.
corned beef raw.
I ate corned beef raw out of the can.
Yeah, that was weird.
And what do I get?
I love corned
Fucking
beef.
DQ'd, man.
Dude, I love corned beef. I wish it wasn't so expensive now.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah. Freaking Hawaii, man.
The demand for corned beef. It's gone too high.
Yeah.
Shipment costs.
I got the Hawaiian airline miles or the Hawaiian airline card recently, the Barclays card. Trying to rack up points. I got jealous of everyone going to Hawaii last year.
Dang, Hawaii would be a sick trip.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have you been? You guys have been? That was your
No,
family vacation, no?
That's actually a good. No, that's one I gotta write down. I gotta do a Hawaii trip.
Ooh, there it is. I have a
Oh.
list too of where like I want to go.
The places. What's your top 3?
Right now, let's see. I hate it too because I started combining it with international, and I'm like, oh, kind of unfair.
Ooh, yeah, they're like different tiers.
Yeah, there's tiers.
Hawaii though is basically international in my book.
You're right. Yeah,
Yeah, I would count that.
Okay, so for example, I want to go to Iceland really, really bad.
That'd be cool.
And then San Fran. Yeah, San Fran. Hawaii and what did I say? Iceland. Well, if I had to stick just into the U.S. though, I guess Seattle. I want to visit Kyle. Say hi to Kyle.
No, it's fine.
Seattle's a cool one. Actually, we only went there one time at night, and then drove to Portland. But they had good stuff there. Taco Bell was good there.
I want to go back to Portland. I would like to go back to Portland. Taco Bell.
Korea also has good Taco Bell. I've been there.
Portland is cool. I actually like Portland a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed Portland too.
Cool.
I would have liked to stay there longer.
We got 1 more minute before we go live, so this is the last call for a bathroom break, which I am gonna take real quick.
No,
Are you gonna put an ad on, Mark, or not yet? You're gonna put an ad on at 8.
No, I'm not gonna do an ad. I figure it's already way too late. So I think fuck it, we're gonna run an ad. Let me pull this up.
Hell yeah!
So for those of you guys who are on Twitch, if you really want to support the stream,
unless we're watching,
I do ask that you whitelist my stream. If you're too lazy to do that, don't worry about that. Or if you just turn off your ad blocker, the ad revenue does help me. Every little bit, literally every little bit helps go towards producing better quality content, maybe getting more interesting guests, anything like that. But enjoy the ad. We'll be right back.
Man, get more interesting guests.
But if
I was gonna say, Mark, what do you mean more interesting guests?
Damn. I'm just throwing it out there, man. I gotta go back.
We have the free tier, the free, and then there's the you owe me dinner tier, or you owe me a drink tier.
Dang.
All right, I'll be right back.
Who would be a guest you would need to take to dinner to get on? Who would be that kind of guest?
Who would be a guest that we would have to take to dinner to get Anton?
Yes, that's so good. Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh my god, that was like spot on. That was good.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't think Mark actually put on an ad though.
No, I don't know if he did or not.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh.
Oh. Am I subbed right now? I thought I was subbed, Mark, but I guess maybe I'm not.
It won't let me sub because it says I owe $1 or a coin of some sort.
You could use your.
Oh, there we go. I'm back. Thanks, Beachimus.
Oh. I just used my Twitch Prime.
Oh, well, I have
alerts.
They
said you're muted.
I have alerts off, so it's not gonna show if you.
That's okay. I just want to.
But thanks for the sub.
You should be able to. I guess if you have Amazon Prime, David, you could sub to Mark too.
Did my ad?
I do have Amazon Prime.
Not run? Maybe it didn't.
I think if you're on Twitch and you click the top button that says subscribe, and then they think there's one that says subscribe via Twitch Prime or something.
Yeah,
that's what I just clicked.
Subscribe.
I don't know. Well, I guess are you on mobile or are you on desktop? Because I know
I'm on mobile.
Oh, okay, because I know on desktop there, like I should have like a little bar thing for it where you can just click it.
Once I fix my MacBook.
Oh, your MacBook is busted right now?
That's why I'm using the iPad. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
That sucks.
Terrible. Apple wants to charge me $500. I'm like, I'm gonna try to do this myself. I can do this.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome. You're actually like pop it open and stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it open.
Break the warranty.
It seems like it's. I don't have warranty anymore, so.
Oh yeah.
If you break it, you just buy a new one, right? Like $500 is basically a new laptop, is
Not for Apple.
Oh, not for yeah.
Don't get a MacBook, bro.
I'll take your MacBook. You want to get?
Hell no, I ain't gonna give that away, man. Spend good money for this shit. Fuck. But I don't update
And
it
just get
'cause I
the
have
store-bought
so many...
ones too, because everything comes like 8 gig RAM. I'm like, come on, man.
It's like, no, give me the 16.
I need the 16.
Give me the 16. Man.
I need more power. Oh, Mark, wait. So are you rerunning an ad? Are we live? Are you hitting us with the intro?
I'm about to go ahead and get started because the ad should be done. But I wasn't sure if it was actually running. Because I had clicked the run ad and then I exited out of the dashboard, and then like I refreshed it or like I reopened it, and then it just like completely wiped. So I was like, okay, whatever. But okay. So,
I thought like
we'll
an intro thing was gonna come in. I was gonna start laughing.
No, unfortunately, we don't got a cool title screen.
An intro video?
Yeah,
you should do an anime intro.
I love those. Those are so good.
That'd be funny.
Those
We'll
make
work on
me
that.
laugh.
We could do that.
I love those.
All right, here we go. Let's go, boys. Game time. All right. So, welcome everybody to the Almost Awesome podcast. We're on episode 21. As usual on the Almost Awesome podcast, we're here to take a deep dive into more meaningful conversations. Skip all the pleasantries, the small talk, and really get into the meat of a conversation. And we're gonna go ahead and do our best to bring you guys along with us on the journey. And of course, like always, we got our co-host Matt hanging out with us to help guide us along on this journey as we venture deep into the mind of the rare, the exclusive, some would say the shiny David Galindo. David,
Shiny.
welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Uh-oh. Video's lagging for me on a bit. All right, I think we're good. Okay, there we go. I was like, yeah, I was like, are you just holding a smile or are you lagging? And I'm like,
Well, welcome to the podcast, David. Thank you for joining.
Thanks again for inviting me, guys.
So, with the podcast, for those of you who aren't watching it, I suggest you do because you're missing out on some quality stuff. But as we do with our podcast to kind of help create a more comfortable environment for our guests and everything, we allow the guests to choose a theme, a dress code of sorts for the podcast. So David's choice was black shirts. Well, technically, like you said, it could have been like black polo, black jacket, just something black, right? And I do ask this. I ask this for every guest, even if it's something as simple as just a black shirt. Why, of anything that you could have chosen, like in your closet, why did you choose black shirts? Any reason?
I would just say it's a go-to article of clothing for me personally. I just think it goes well with a lot of things, and you don't have to think too hard about it. That was literally my idea.
True. I mean, you don't have to think too hard about it, but then I had to think. I was like, is this black or gray? Because it's kind of black and a little bit of white. So then, to the eye, it looks kind of gray. But anyways, I digress.
It looks good. I like black. It's a good color.
Mm-hmm. It's simple and like you don't have to really like look hard for it, right? Most everyone should have like a black shirt.
Right. I'm hoping that's
right.
I was thinking. I was like, I thought about a few things, and I was like, there's no need to overkill it.
Mm-hmm. So, as we also do for the podcast, since this is about like having conversations and stuff, I do like to start off with a conversation of sorts. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different from my usual ones, but my question today, I would say for both of you, I think we have kind of heard this a bit from Matt, but maybe it's going to be a little bit more for you, David. What is your... Do you ever like give yourself like a speech to like kind of hype yourself up, or even like generically like just to start your day?
Not necessarily a speech, but I guess like there's a moment when you like look in the mirror and you're just like, here we go. That's kind of, that's pretty much, I would say, the most hype up, getting yourself ready. Because this morning, it's like an example of like where I didn't want to like get up for work, but it's just like, that's it. Just kind of, all right, here we go. Good luck.
Yeah. Like, it's simple and sweet, but it also makes the point across, right, to your mind, where it's just like, we don't want to do this. I could easily think of excuses. I could call in sick. I could do this and not go to work. But here we go. Here we go again, right?
Can I expand a little bit on the question?
Go for it.
Do you have any like morning routines or something that you have to do every morning to get your day started that when you don't do it, it kind of throws you in a loop or throws you out of whack?
I guess the biggest thing, I do have a morning routine, but I wouldn't say it's like it throws me out of whack. But I have to walk my dog just because I know if I don't walk her, then there'll be pee in the house, I guess. So it's not necessarily like I need like something that will throw me off, but I guess I have like, wake up, brush your teeth, your morning routine, but not necessarily will throw you out of whack, other than knowing that you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, crap, I didn't put on deodorant.
Oh, dang. Oh, smelly.
You gotta do like one of those things where you're just like this a lot throughout the day.
Yeah,
you're like making sure like,
hey,
yeah,
Gotcha. Well, I think even a morning walking your dog is its own, like, I'm sure you reflect during that time or you do something during that time or some sort, but that's cool. That's cool. Everyone does something a little bit differently.
You guys do stuff?
I do. Well, for me, it's unhealthy. I basically like I'll pick up my phone. So like, because I put my phone on do not disturb before I go to bed. So like, because there are times where like I'm a very light sleeper, and before I started doing this, it used to happen all the time where right when I would be about to fall asleep, my phone would like buzz off, or like it just ring from like a notification from Facebook or from like Twitch or something, and I'd just like wake up and instinctively check my phone. So I start putting my phone on like do not disturb before I go to bed, and then I have like I'll play like some music on a timer. But when I wake up, I'll turn off the do not disturb and see like if I have anything, like if something happened overnight. Hopefully nothing bad happened overnight where it's just like, please Mark, pick up your phone. What the fuck is going on? Why don't you pick up? Shit like that. Yeah. So I mean, so far nothing like that has happened. But after that, I instinctively go like straight to social media. I'm like, let me just see like if stuff happened. And I sit there for a while, and after a while, I'm like, all right, time to lazily roll out of bed.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's like catching up on the news.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
But there's nothing good on Facebook, right? It's all just gonna be like memes and like troll posts and like.
Sometimes there's stuff that make you laugh. I love Monday memes. Like people are like, I hate Monday. I'm like, yeah, me too. That's hilarious.
I do it for the memes. Me every morning, I like to write. I do writing every morning. That's one of the first things.
See,
I try to read one article from the Wall Street Journal as well. Keep myself a little bit informed on stuff. And then usually I fall into like it's pretty similar. Like I'll go on Reddit. I think that's usually the first thing I do. See if there's anything interesting. Like 90% of the time, it's nothing interesting, and then I just find myself getting out of bed.
Right.
And then like doing my normal stuff, like getting ready for the day, showering, all that stuff.
I guess it depends on like what time you have to get up too. Like like what time do you guys have to normally get up? Or like when do you have to be like in your car or on your way to doing what?
So for me, it's recently changed because now I get to work from home most of the time. So I don't have to get up until like
That's
7:30.
why. Yeah, of
Usually
course.
7 or 7:30, which is pretty nice. It's
my-
pretty nice.
Dude, yeah. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. My only motivation is like, all right, we going to the gym early or not?
Yeah.
And then like I like 2 days of the week I have class, but they're like in the afternoon. So I do set like a timetable where it's like, okay, you know, at 10 a.m. I need to make sure that I'm actually up and out of bed and, you know, start getting ready. But then, you know, I can wait to leave the house at like 12 or something.
True.
But like one thing that you mentioned like about writing and stuff, I know I'll catch myself doing that if I have a vivid dream.
Oh, the lucid dream training. I used to do that too. Like I really wanted to do it, but I got lazy. It's just like you wake up and you write like every detail you remember.
And I hate it because there are times where if it's just too detailed, as I'm writing it, I'll tend to forget. I'll be like, wait, did this happen? Wait, what happened here? What happened? I know there are gaps here, and I know this is an important. Like, it's almost just
this
like
is an important part.
missing. It's like missing like 3 episodes of an anime, and you're like, I don't know what happened here, but I've gotten from this point to this point. So I'm just like, let me just enter a couple of spaces, and we'll just leave it blank for now, and let me just continue while I have it here.
We'll get back.
Yeah, whatever I can remember, I just throw it on.
But it's been pretty bad.
It never helped me. I never got any better. I was just like, dang it, I can't control nothing.
I think it's important, like, just to. I've always hated that feeling where you have like a really vivid dream and you want to tell somebody about it, and then by the time you get the chance to tell them, you're like, I don't remember what happened. I remember like one major thing.
So weird. Yeah.
I like the idea of writing down dreams, but I think it's the best part about it is like when you write it down, I feel like you don't have to tell other people about it. Me personally, I've noticed this. I actually don't like when people tell me about their dreams. I don't like telling people my dreams because most of the time it's just like, oh, cool, man. Like, it's only relatable to you. The little things, like you really have to. Someone really has to know you, or you have to like connect the dots
to appreciate it, kind of thing. Where it's like, I know why this is relevant to you, or important, or interesting, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, because most of the time it's just so abstract. Like how
so
it actually connects to your life. Other time when it's obvious, like, oh man, I had a neighbor at this presentation for work. Like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But when it's like, yo, I was like running naked in the neighborhood, my dream, I gotta know. Like, cool, man. I don't know what that means.
I some of our friends are like detailed, like paragraph. I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah,
They're so random.
I had one of those like a couple nights ago, and I just like wrote it all down, and like I've been trying to analyze it lately, where because I used to have this recurring nightmare. I still do occasionally, where in my dream I'll lose my teeth, and I'll wake up horrified, and I'll like check, like, oh, are my teeth still there? Did I lose them? Like, did I lose a tooth like in the middle of my sleep? And then I looked into that, and there's like some dream analysis about it, which basically said, if I'm really going to look into it and try to understand like the meaning of why I keep seeing this recurring bit of me losing my teeth for some reason, it was essentially saying that I have this fear of not being in control of situations, or
True.
And that's why I'm like losing my teeth.
That's from teeth?
Like, yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, yo, I just don't want to lose my teeth. That's it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Spend money on these bad boys.
This tooth recently was split. Dude, that was, oh my god, that was horrifying. I was like, I couldn't believe it happened. I remember when it happened. I was like, no way.
How quick did you fix it?
It was over the weekend, like probably 2 days after.
Oh man, you had to serve a whole day.
Like,
did you just like?
Oh no, this is like, it was like, yeah. And I had like a date lined up, and then I had like
you just
something
talk
else.
with
Like,
your. You just never show your top row
No.
teeth like this.
And you know I'm always smiling. I was like, there's no way. There's no way I can do
You
it.
rescheduled the date, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say no. I was
and
like,
you pulled it
oh.
off. That
Oh
would
my
have been
God.
amazing.
The ballsiest. Yeah.
Like I can explain. I have it. I have the other piece.
I know.
There's a story
I
behind
brought
this.
it.
I have to hold
I brought
on
it
to
the
this bag
dentist.
with
I was
the
like,
chip too.
do I need this?
Did they need
Oh
it?
my God.
No,
they
they
just
just
right?
no.
They
Yeah,
They
'cause
filled
you
it
just,
in. Yeah.
You just do a filling.
That's cool. That's cool.
But to go ahead and dive into this, it recently dawned on me. I've been like into a lot of kind of like self-help books and like self-analysis stuff, and really thinking of like ways to better myself. There's always, I feel that for everybody, there's always room for self-improvement, whether
Absolutely.
that's practical skills, whether that's a mental mindset. There's always something that you could do that you could be slightly better at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And something that somewhat dawned on me recently was, I guess to put it like straightforward, just the pressure of trying to reach expectations of people, which for me, I feel like it's weird because I feel like my timetable is somewhat reverse as I feel like most people would be, where I know in around high school, college, like I feel like that's where most people would kind of feel the pressure of like, who am I, like what's my self-identity and stuff like that. And for me, I guess since I had an older brother, I always had to live like, I basically lived in his shadow. Everyone referred to me as, Mini Mike, Little Gorion. Well, before Matt showed up, he had the good age gap where by the time like
he's not comparable anymore. It's
yeah, it's
Well,
like
I saw you.
fresh blood. Yeah, that's true. But like for me and my older brother, since we were 2 years apart, like it was like
more comparable.
yeah, and like there are like weird expectations of me to be, basically the smaller, younger version of my older brother, and
Sure.
like I broke out of that like quick. I was like, I don't want to live this life. I don't want to. I want people to know me for me.
Sure.
But now that I'm older, and like there isn't like that outside pressure, or like I would have thought that would have carried over and just kept going. Like let me just be true to who I am and stuff like that.
Sure.
I feel like there's outside pressures from society, my parents, my friends, and stuff like that to be a certain way. I guess especially being 30 now, like I've gone to the mindset where, oh, okay, I'm 30, I should be doing this. People around me are getting married, they're having kids, they're working on their career. What am I doing? I'm back in school. I'm still like, it's almost like it's a weird setbacks where it's just like I see everyone moving up, but I've had to take like steps back to start over and figure out like where I'm at. So it's definitely weird for me. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? About like, almost. I guess I'm kind of skipping stuff, but it's fine. I guess. How do you guys feel about reaching expectations of like your environment? I would say. Like, do you feel like that's important to you, or do you feel like it's like you can kind of take that with a grain of salt as long as you're just true to who you are?
You want to go first, Matt?
Yeah, I can go first. I think there's a couple of factors to it to think about. I think a lot of the times when you're unsure about who you are or where you're at, you will fit the expectations that people set upon you or try to fit those. So I think I think it's really interesting. I feel like I learned a lot more about this when I started working, is when you give people more responsibility, a lot of the times I see that people live up to that responsibility. When you place expectations on somebody, they can live up to it if they have that potential. But I think the reverse happens as well. I think when you have low expectations of someone, again, they fall or rise to that expectation, which I think is dangerous. And I think that only really happens when you're not sure of your own self-worth. I think when you become sure of that, and it's not even sure, I don't think you ever really are certain of your self-worth, but you get closer to what that is. You get closer to being able to define that. And I think when you get to that point, you can start pushing past those expectations and not really giving them as much value and allowing them to control your life. But in the same sense, I think those expectations are important because I think they help define you at a certain point, especially when you're not sure of where you stand or where your self-value is you kind of need those to be your baseline and figure out, hey, can I do more than what this person expects of me, or is this my peak? And if so, am I going to surpass this, or is this where I want to be at? And there's nothing wrong with either or. It's just, again, what do you really want to do and understanding what you want. And then I think that is where it starts to shift drastically. So that's my thought. I think it is super hard. I think the pressure is really hard. I think when people expect something of you and you're not sure about it, living up to that is really difficult. But I think part of life is not giving people as much power over your life and how you think, and like finding that balance, I think takes a long time. That took me a while. I still struggle with it. I think but once you break through that and you slowly break through it, I think at each phase of your life, you kind of get better. I think that's like how you level up. Is how I see it.
True.
So those are my thoughts. I don't think it ever gets easier. I think like when you're in school, the cool kids or your teachers or your brothers or your family has expectation. It goes all the way from middle school to college. And I think once you get to work, it's the same idea. Your family has expectations, but then you also have like your boss. You have like the boss's boss. You have like the big dogs in the meeting, and they have their own expectations. You have to kind of live up to that or break past them. But there's still this kind of like people pleasing, trying to fit what they want you to do and finding who you are and like defining your own value that you still figure out. And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like that post-college point where now it's like the rest of the world out there. So it's crazy because, I mean, it's just like school. Once you get to the top of the ladder, you graduate and then you're back to the very, very, very bottom. And then you see everything else out there. And then it's just like, it's the same concept, just it blows up to like the world level.
Escalated.
So that's how I'm going through it, and that's how I kind of think about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, David.
Oh, I think there was like a point where I wanted to piggyback off what you said, and I really just think it's like what you think is important when you're younger. Like, it's really easy. It's really easy to get influenced by society's pressures because that's all you know is important. So, like, example, your parents are your only source to tell you like this is right and this is wrong. So if you don't do what your parents are saying, then obviously you're in the wrong, if that makes sense.
Right.
But then your family is also your parents' sense of what is right is based off what society tells us. So like always, like sometimes you get into that sense where it's like, I have to feel this way because 90% or 80% of the people around me are doing it. And us as humans, like, we just want to fit in. Like, everyone always I always think it's really funny when people like, you don't care about what people say, like, do what you want to do. But like, that's so much harder than it is like to do it. Like, when you're in the pressure of like, you're the one kid that doesn't have friends and you're the only one that doesn't like hang out or go to like events or whatever, like that's easier, way easier said. It's like, but again, like it really is, I guess, your idea of what's finding important, because some people don't care. Like, I remember in high school, like, going to parties wasn't a big deal for me, but then in college I really enjoyed that. So like, it was just like a different aspect. So back then in high school, I didn't care. I didn't give a crap about going to parties. I just hung out with like a small. Then it shifted because then in college it was important for me to expand my networking, and then that's when it wasn't like I felt pressure, but that's what I wanted. So I don't think it's about necessarily succumbing to the pressure, but just prioritizing what's important to you. But again, like Matt said, it changes every time you get into a new chapter of your life. So I guess maybe just bring it back full circle. You know, back when you were in high school, like you were growing up, a lot of it was pressures of being your brother's shadow, and like you being to your brother's shoes. Now at this age, now it's more like what's important to you is you're seeing not your brother, but now you're seeing everyone else and what they're doing, and that's probably what's putting that pressure on. Not necessarily your family or whatever. Whatever you think is important.
I'd love to piggyback off that a little bit too, because I think that's what was the big change for me going through school and then now was even like, I mean, I'm the youngest of you and Mike. So the pathway and what I had to compare myself to was always so clearly defined. It was either you or Mike. And that was kind of like my baseline. So defining who I wanted to be versus you guys was easy. Not easy. I mean, of course you go through it and it's hard while you're figuring yourself out all through school. But then once I graduated, even in college, it started to become like, wait a second, I can't follow their footsteps anymore because the whole world is wide open. Like,
yeah, I'm not being compared to them anymore. It's I can be compared to anyone else. Like, right, it just changes.
It's like you're just being like compared to like a larger scope, like
or it's even you're comparing yourself. You know what I mean? Like it gets to a point where you're at the beginning, it's your parents putting that expectation on you, and then eventually that blows up into you putting that expectation on you.
Yeah. So like the pathway towards success was so easily defined for me beforehand. Now it's crazy because now it's like, well, now I have to carve my own path.
Right.
And it becomes really interesting. At first, I think the idea of it is paralyzing because it's so vast, because you can do literally anything. But at the same time, when you shift your perspective, it becomes empowering because you can do anything, which I think is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know lately it's been a motivating factor for me for like whatever I'm doing, where if people like usual, you know, if people set that bar high, if people have high expectations of me, I want to do my best to try to reach as high as I can for it, or above and beyond. And even when I feel like there's low expectations of me, or Mark's not going to be able to do this, Mark can't do this, I guess specifically for me, I feel like I've always had this feeling of not being enough. You know, I grew up as a short kid, so I was never tall enough. I was never big enough to, play sports. I wasn't good looking enough to hit on girls in middle school, or like, just there's a lot of weird expectations of myself of, I wasn't enough to reach the norm that was set around me. And there have been a lot of times where I've been like, let me fight against it. Let me prove them wrong. I mean, nobody's saying anything. It's more of just almost like a self-reflection of, I think these people are projecting this sort of like expectation on me. And it's no one really, honestly. It's more just, myself being my own critic. And I noticed lately, especially like as I'm older, I definitely thought of it where it's just like, man, I'm just tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting myself and just like setting these expectations like too high, where it's just like, I almost had to convince myself where, to get into the mindset of that people probably don't have enough time to worry about whatever the hell you're doing. And that's because they're worrying about their life and what they're doing.
Their life, absolutely.
If they have time to worry about what you're doing, then they probably have their life fully together. And it probably wouldn't hurt to listen. But in most cases, like everybody's trying to figure out. Yeah, everyone's trying to figure out like their like you said, like everyone's trying to figure out their place in society. Where do I belong? Where do I fit in, and where can I be comfortable and be like, this is me. But I definitely feel like it's been kind of weird where I guess it's like I wish that I had that like drive to be like, fuck all the haters. I'm gonna be me. But now I'm like, oh, maybe I should fit in.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try to fit into the social norm, into this mold, and do this. And
I was gonna say that's a tough lifestyle. I know people. Like, that's what I was saying when people sometimes are like, yeah, fuck everything that everyone. I don't care about anyone's opinions and anything, but sometimes that's lonely. Sometimes, like, in reality, like, I don't know. It's easier said than done as well. Like, no matter what, like, you have people that you care about, and at the end of the day, it's hard to say that you don't care what those people you care about think. Like, whether it be your family, whether it be your friends, your significant other, it's like you want to look appealing in their eyes. I would assume, and
it's almost like that desire for acceptance, right?
Acceptance,
and being part of being accepted in that
nature,
community, right? Whether that's your group of friends, your
absolutely.
family, your coworkers, so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
Another question I wanted to ask about, like, expectations. I guess at what point do you? At what point would you no longer feel the need to reach the expectations, like, set on you by other people, where
Feel like it's gonna be different.
or
I think, like, one of the things
like,
I'm learning, just learning, like, throughout life is it's like not a cookie cutter thing for everyone. Like, it's like you make, especially I've learned through work, you make processes for, like, what you think is supposed to be right, but then there's always, like, another person that's like, oh, I don't think. It goes back to that whole thing where, like, I can't make everyone happy, So to your point, to, like, bring that back, I don't know if there's really, like, a set time. Like, I would say it's like when you feel good, whatever factors those mean to you.
Yeah, I, like, completely agree, and I think, truth be told, it's hard for me to think of a time in life where you're completely free.
Oh yeah, I'm not. By the way,
People's
that's what I'm saying. I would say maybe when you're like 80 and no one else can look down on you, like when you're like the elder,
you're just like,
supposed to
fuck it
respect.
all, man.
Like no one else is older than. So no one can judge me, kind of thing.
The toppest of the top dogs.
Right. I am the wisest. So.
I think the thing is, I think it's important. I think expectations are important to have. I think at one point you find the balance between your expectations for yourself and how other people's expectations of you. And when you find that balance, I think is when you become, really good at what you do. I think that's when you start to hit your peak, so to speak.
Right.
But striking that perfect balance, I think, is extremely hard. And again, it keeps reshifting. It reshifts every phase, and it reshifts as you change. Your expectations of yourself change. Everyone else's as. So it's like it always gets tweaked a little bit.
I think that's why, like, people make goals for themselves. It's like I want to do this, and then once you hit there, then you get, you make another goal. Eventually, I would say you're gonna hit a point where you're like, yeah, I hit a lot of goals and I feel good at where I'm at. I'm not there yet, but that's what I would assume. Where you feel like, well, I've hit like 80% of my goal. Like, I don't care what else anyone else say. I've really made myself.
Would you say that point would be like, you would reach that point of, I guess, like, fulfillment once you realize you've gone to the point where I'm my true self. This is who I'm meant to be, who I want to be.
It's hard to say that just because
where, like, you're so sure who you are that outside influences, you can be like,
I would say theoretically that makes sense, but Matt's making a face, so I would like to hear what he says.
My face, I'm making the face because I think we're always going to change.
That's what I was kind of heading at. But
because
I mean, that's just theoretically, if you get to that point, like, it would make sense. But
yeah, I just don't think we ever really get there. I think all of life is like the constant growth process and a constant change.
I don't know, man. My grandma was like, she don't give no shit. Like, and before she passed, she was like, I am what I am. Sorry, gotta deal with it.
This is true. Maybe you're right. Maybe when you hit that age, or that, like
The wisest of the wise.
Yeah, like there's got to be like some catalyst that triggers. But I don't think many people get to that for a while.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I don't think it's for a while. Absolutely.
There's a phrase I heard where it was something along the lines of this, where a lot of people spend their entire life figuring out the meaning of life, as opposed to just living it.
Sure.
And at one point, I think you reach a point where, I guess, to be almost like a nihilist about it, like there isn't really a point. There isn't really an answer for that question. Everyone has their own reason, their own like meaning in life. It's not everyone's gonna follow the same track, the same line, and stuff like that. And I think it really just does come down to accepting, maybe there isn't a greater purpose for me in life, but let me just live every day like the best I can. Carpe diem, seize the day and just live the best that you can, because you're only gonna be here for so long. So why not live it up, almost like in bliss, as opposed to figuring out, what's my purpose? What was I put on this earth to do? Stuff like that.
At the same time, because I think I agree with you at that point, but I also take into account there are some people that are just like go-getters, like they like some crazy people, like that just are like, whoa, like how do you have time to like enjoy life, kind of thing. But those are the people that are kind of like, changing the world, kind of thing. At the same point, I guess, like to your point, like maybe some people do really think they have a greater purpose, and not to say that we don't, like us personally, but I would say again, it's really dependent on the person. Like I'm cool with just like enjoying life. I find my purpose like making sure I'm with people I love and the people I care about, enjoying my time with them. But the guy next to me could be like, I don't care who I'm with, but I need to make a difference in this world, doing something. That sacrifice could mean something different.
True.
I completely agree. I think it varies person by person. I think sometimes you get lucky and you do have a calling. Sometimes like maybe your calling is just to live life. Whatever you find it to be. It can be whatever. And like again, I also think you can find it at any stage in life too, which makes it really fascinating. Because I think some people find it really early and it's awesome. I think there's some people that probably don't find it until they're like 50. And then
I'm only bringing this up because I know Matt watches Terrace House. Mark, I'm not sure if you watch Terrace House.
No, I
don't.
Was
there was like in like first season, like Armin, like he was like, I know it's funny, but there was like a guy that quoted him because they like put like roles for these people, like this.
Okay.
People that don't know Terrace House, just but pretty much he wanted to be a fireman, and that was his thing. He was like, I want to be a fireman. But later down in the season, like someone gave him advice, was like, by the way, I don't think you need to be a fireman. I think your calling is just to be happy. Like that's your calling. It just made me remind me of that. Bringing it back.
Bring it back. If we could play music, we'd be playing Slow Down in the background.
I was gonna say, so good. Oh my god, I love that.
But I think it's almost disappointing in a sense when you think about like how large of an impact like one person can have on the world.
Sure.
Good example, like an Elon Musk, right? I don't think
my boy.
I don't mean to insult all of my friends, but I don't think any of my friends are going to be the next Elon Musk. Like to be honest, right? Like we may not have an impact on the world like someone
Elon
he does, right?
Yeah, he has a platform, he has the opportunity, right?
But I think even on a smaller scale, we may have a large impact. We may have like a huge impact on, the friends around us, the people that we interact with day to day that we don't know. Like even just this podcast itself could be, a game changer, an eye opener for someone where they could just take a different path in life from just hearing like what we're talking about. So I think it also comes down to I guess I always have this sense of like almost like the millennial mindset where it's like, oh, I'm meant to be like this great cog in the world of life, and I'm gonna make changes and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I know I definitely have that mindset. I used to have that mindset where it's like, I'm on this earth. God gave me this life, and I'm gonna use it to the fullest. I'm gonna make changes. Changes are gonna happen with me and my name. People are gonna remember my name and stuff like that. But maybe I won't be heard in the textbooks. But hopefully my friends will talk about me in a good light. Hopefully not in a bad light. But that like I've done something to influence their life and stuff like that.
I feel you. Yeah, I agree.
My opinion of it is, I think any of our friends could be Elon Musk or the next Elon Musk. I think the question becomes, do any of them really want to be the next
do they
Elon
want to
Musk?
be? There you go. True.
I don't think, at least currently, I don't think any of us really want that right now.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe we'll again. I think we can change. I think there is a chance.
Yeah, there will be.
Yeah,
but
you
we'll
never
see.
know, because time goes on, goals change, expectations change upon us, and again, it could be you could just open that third eye, and the world may change right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
But in my opinion, I think most of our friends, or most of us, just kind of want to like survive and live life, and kind of make it here.
Yeah.
In the world, and we're happy.
You take it back to like being a caveman. It's like that's all they were doing was trying to survive. And then you had that one crazy caveman that was like, "I'm make fire," and then
this guy's nuts. Let's just go hunt.
And he's also like, he's like, wait,
fire.
we can cook the food, we can heat it up, and it'll taste even better.
He didn't care. That guy was like,
Bunga did what with our clubs?
That Uncle Bunga can't be trusted. He's an outcast. Get him out of here.
Bunga.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit, where the pressure of expectations put upon us kind of helps towards our self-development as a whole. It kind of helps create like you start to realize does this align with who I want to be, what my goals are, and like if not, you kind of take it with a grain of salt. And like if it, I guess I would say like for work wise, I don't know if you're gonna have any like eye-opening experiences where it's gonna drastically change your self-image by make sure you fill out this paperwork by the end of the day. But I think that a lot of the outside expectations help guide us towards our idea of who we are as a person. Now, I do want to throw this to both of you guys, and this is gonna kind of, I'm hoping it kind of blows up out of proportion. But I want to ask this: are you guys? I guess two questions, twofold. Do you know who you are, and are you comfortable with who you are at this point in your life?
You can go first, David.
Yeah, I would say like I know who I am and I'm comfortable. Yeah. Do you want us to elaborate, or
if you don't feel
think it would be
comfortable
cool.
with it,
I think it would be cool to hear about like how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of I guess if to throw it out there, I know for me personally, like even after talking about it, I don't know, just to make it clear, when I was in high school, I had like this whole idea of my self-image, and I knew who I wanted to be. And after like college and stuff, now I would have thought that I had a better idea as to who I am and who I want to be, but I feel more lost than like back then, where I'm starting to question like where what do I really want to do? Who do I want to be? What do I identify as? What makes me going? What drives me? So
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing. By the way, I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people are still self-discovering, themselves, and that's a very normal thing. I think I think in reality, you just gotta ask yourself like, what makes you happy, like sincerely, because that is what drives you to be who the person you want to be, I guess. So I can put my childhood in phases. I would say, like in high school, or not high school, in elementary school, I was not popular by any means, and there was Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a Digimon club, and I would have like 3 friends, and literally during recess, we would be the kids that would walk around the entire soccer field, just making adventures in our head and talking about like what we would do and making stories while everyone else played on. But that never bothered me. I never thought that was weird. I never thought like that was like something like the expectation. Like I would play soccer once in a while, but in reality, that's what made me happy. And like I didn't think about anything like that. And then in high school, I wanted to do something else. I wanted to be in band. I wanted to be in drama. And I remember I gave up tennis at that time because I was doing tennis, because that's what made me feel, or that's what I thought was going to make me happy. And then I became like a drama person, and I became like an entertainment guy. And then in college, then I became super Asian apparently. That's a lot of all my high school friends are like, when you went to college, you became like super Asian. I was like, I am Asian. But in their eye,
y'all racist.
Yeah, you made this
I grew up at a majority white and Hispanic high school, and it was true. Like I felt like the term is whitewashed, right? And in college, I found my Filipino roots, and I felt like that made me feel super happy, and that's why I got involved with the Asian org. Why I became who I became like in college, because it made me happy. So that's how I came to, I guess, and now taking it further into work, like I know who I wanted to be because all those kind of things that kind of led up to it. And because I've always kind of felt like I knew what made me happy, that's what I always steered my life towards. If that made sense.
Nice.
And for me, I would echo what David said, like almost exactly. I think, again, it goes into like phases of your life. I think you figure out who you are in different phases of your life, and as you keep redefining yourself, you go through it. It's like a process. Like when you first start, you get lost again, and then you kind of get into your groove. You figure out who you are again, and then you like own that phase. And it's actually pretty funny. In elementary school, me and my friends would do something similar, David. We would just play a game. We would just call it anything. That's literally the name of our game we would play. And we would just run around the playground and like imagine we were characters from like Teen Titans or any TV show, and we would like fight. But it'd just be all in our imagination. And like I didn't care. Like it literally was like, oh, this is awesome. We have like a group of friends, and this is all we're doing. And like other people would play football. Sometimes people would want to play with us. It'd be like, but like we were so comfortable with who we were. It literally didn't matter to me at all. High school was like interesting. I think I started to get more of the Asian taste in high school because me and Mark went to like a Catholic school. But for me, I'm thinking it was mainly like just white people, like just rich white kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's a private school. It's going to be rich people. Yeah.
Yeah, I also went to a private Catholic school.
Yeah. So like there was like I think there was Raymar was probably the only other Asian kid that and like my cousin.
Shout out
like
to
the only
Raymar.
Asian kids. Yeah. in our like elementary school. So we were friends, but we were friends with other people as well. And then like high school we met more Asian people. Asian girls. Ooh, changed the game. Changed the game for us.
Girls are game changer for sure. Yeah, that's a game changer. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like that's when I realized, like, I started to hit my stride in high school when it came to girls. College was the same thing. Like, FSA became my identity.
And then they're like more Asian girls. You're like, oh my god.
And I was like, wait a second.
There are more people who are like me. There are more people who like me because I'm Asian. It's not like, oh, I don't want to date you because you're Asian. It's, no, I want to date you because you're Asian. You're like,
so many girls. And I can be the king of the organization.
Oh my. I can lead all of you. The harem king.
And bringing it back, I think the hardest phase goes after you graduate in college. Because again, like the whole scope blows up and everything changes. is, and there's so much you could use to define yourself once you get out of college. You can be a family man. You could be someone that's like grinding in work. You could be someone that's an entrepreneur. You could be anything, anything you want. And it's so crazy because like here I'm seeing it so much more than I feel like I felt in Florida. Like here, a lot of people define themselves by where they work at, which was really interesting.
I'm this or I'm from that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like crazy because when I was working at Goldman Sachs, like, dude, that was like the gold card. Like everyone was like, "Yo, this guy works at Goldman Sachs," and I was like, I didn't think it was a big deal. It was just somewhere I worked. But then a lot of people treat it like it's something that's important, and it was like, this is interesting. For a while, it almost became like I was proud to work there. Like was like part of my identity.
I think that's very common, to be honest. Yeah, I'm with you. Like in the healthcare industry, it's like, oh, you work at Nemours? Like that's a thing. That's a big thing. It's almost like a college major kind of thing too, which is like, oh, you're an engineer or you're this, and then it was like, oh, you're majoring in fine arts kind of thing. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like it's again society that pressure of like what they put in your mind of like what expectation is like acceptable. What's acceptable? What is glorified?
It was marketing. Like it was nuts. Like just like an anecdote. And this was like a factor that made me almost want to stay at the company. Was like I was at an Uber pool after drinking, and me and this guy were talking, and we talked about where we worked, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, what's your number? Like, can we like get in touch?" I was like, "Dude, I'm an analyst there. I'm not gonna give you anything. We're like, there's no way we're gonna really make a connection." But like this guy really wanted to connect with me just based off of where I work, and I was like, "Dang, this like
must be a good place." Like. Yeah.
It like made me almost want to stay, and then I was like, nah, I'm good. So I think that's crazy. I think it becomes really interesting because like what we've been talking about, the expectation also changes, and you change over time. So it's like that again, finding
moving variables.
Yeah. But I do think it's really hard. I think it's really, really hard after college. I would say it's the hardest phase to find yourself. Because it becomes so wide. Again, because you can define yourself in any way.
I would say, Mark, like, and to be honest, it's like the faster you find out what makes you happy, the easier it is to find yourself. I would say, like, what makes, like, whatever makes you happy, man. Like, I feel that should be more your question. Like, what drives me to keep living and enjoying life? Then what do I need to be doing with my life? If that makes sense.
Oh, it definitely does.
Where I should be.
Like I've definitely asked that question honestly it does get kind of dark where it's like, why do I get up every morning?
Bring it on, baby. We're here.
It's like, what's the point, right?
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah.
Do I have some motivation, or do I have like a goal, whether it's big or small? Do I have something that, warrants me waking up in the morning, getting up and getting at it, right? And like I guess it's terrifying where if we bring it back to like the expectations, like the social expectations. Like I'm 30, right? And it's like, oh, I should have my life together. And it's just like, fuck, man, do I have my life together? I mean, I'm working on it. Like, I'm back in school, taking classes, doing well, and like I've had to like redefine like workout goals to just like motivate me to get back in the gym, do stuff like that. Watch out, 2020 powerlifting, we coming. But yeah, like it definitely comes. It's definitely happened a lot of times where I know me and Matt have talked about it a lot throughout our podcast of just constantly redefining your goals, figuring out like does my goal align with my mindset today, or do I need to like change it to fit where where I stand. Like, again, just as simple as something like, I wanted to work out. What's the goal of working out? Impress girls. And I'm like, dang, I haven't impressed girls, but I impress a lot of guys. So what can I do to impress girls? It's just like, guys like upper body stuff. Girls, not so much, apparently. Girls like legs. Guess we're doing leg day more often. Like, even if it's something as simple as that. But
it is that. It gets down to those details,
It's just always finding time to reanalyze your goals and like your self identity. Like what do I want to do? What makes me happy? And stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That's what I love about goals is it's like a measurement system for improving the things that make you happy.
That make you happy, right? Those are goals that you set for yourself. That's it. Like that's your goal to make you happy. So no one else is putting that goal on you. It's yours.
And the thing that sucks, I feel like this is when you reach that goal, it's just like you want more, right?
Oh yeah, that
it's
too.
just like I've gone to this, and now I'm satisfied, which is different from happy. You want to get back to happy, so then you have to think, all right, well, what'll make me happier? What'll make me happy? Like every time,
100%.
And it's just a long grind, right?
Man, it's a grind, bro. Yeah.
It's like never ending.
That's what I was saying about the goal thing, where I was like, you do one, and you're like, what's next? That whole goal, and then yeah. Hopefully one day it stops. That's why I was talking about. Hopefully I have enough. Hopefully I'm satiated, like at an age.
80.
Like when I'm 80 when you see now,
That's
right?
the
That's
goal.
what I said. We're like, I don't care, right?
Man, if I'm 80 and I have a New Year's, it better be sick. Like it better be like rule the world or something crazy.
Something crazy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Now, when your goals are like, I just want to spend more time with my family, that's when you know it's good. That's when you know you've hit a good place in your life.
New Year's resolution: spend time with the grandkids. Oof.
Oh my.
Oof. That's the goal.
That sounds good.
The goal is to find a girlfriend first. Can't even think about having grandkids.
It's all connected.
But that's what.
The top goal is to hang out with your grandkids. Right now, it's find a girlfriend.
Yeah.
We all touched upon it in stuff we said, but like you said, like, why did you start doing like certain things at a certain age? Like, because you reprioritize what is important. And I know it sounds weird to say it like that, but girls definitely are a huge influence of how you act and behave and what you kind of, reinvent yourself as. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, I remember I specifically remember in middle school, I gave up tennis to do drama because my friend said there are a lot of girls that do drama. I specifically remember my coach was super disappointed. He's like, David, like, don't do. No, he was. I remember he was, do it. Like, you have like potential to be a good, really great tennis player. There's gonna be like you'll find girls. And I was just like, I was just convinced that I was like, no, you're wrong. Like, I'm gonna meet a lot of girls in drama, which I did, but not to say he was wrong. But that's just what I thought in my head. Like, and that's why I did it. And a lot of it reprioritize what you think is gonna make you happy.
So, quick thing. Because we are slightly running out of time. So for the people who are watching live right now, I did post a question on Twitter that I wanted to bring into the conversation today. And my question was, if you had to choose one or the other in terms of self-development, which would you choose? Would you rather fix the negatives, like fix the negative aspects of like yourself, or improve the positives? So I guess it's just like for improve the positive, it's like, would you rather almost ignore the negatives and just work on the positives and make that outshine the negatives, or would you rather like see like, oh, I'm not good at this, let me fix that to level it out?
That's hard because, like, I feel like, what if you overthink this and you're like, well, if I increase a positive more, does it negate a negative I would have taken away? You know what I mean? Like, like if I improve discipline, does that improve me being fat? You know what I mean? Because it overall, like,
it's all connected. Yeah. I had a mentor in my first job, and I asked him something similar, and the way he taught me, and it still resonates with me today, is you work on the negatives enough they don't hamstring you, and then once they aren't like destroying everything or getting in your way, then you focus all of your time on your positives. Because the way he got in my head was, the positives are the things that differentiate you from everyone else. The negatives are the things
I like this, how this is.
Like hold you back. Again, they do the same thing, right? The negatives will differentiate you from everyone else, but in the worst way. So you just want to bring them enough where where it doesn't destroy you,
right?
And then everything else, the positives are really what people notice about you, or what you want people to notice about you. And because of that, that's why you focus more on that once you've brought everything up to the right level.
So just to clarify, Matt, because I know technically speaking, the correct choice is a little bit of both, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying, again, if you had to pick one to work on and like focus your time on, would you say fix the negatives?
First, yeah, I think first
Okay.
you have to fix the negatives.
Okay.
Because if they're that bad, then it's going to take forever to get to the positives.
Because
And every time you
it'll
build
keep,
way, you'll destroy yourself in this other way, whatever those
it'll
negatives
keep
could
bringing you
be.
down. I got you.
Mhm.
That makes sense because positives only right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I kind of see what you're saying, David. Like it does, like there is a weird balance between it all. But like if you're eating 2 mountain malts a day, it doesn't matter how much discipline you have. Like you gotta fix your diet.
I don't know,
It's kinda
man.
like-
If you're bench pressing 700 pounds, I think you can eat 2 mountain milks.
Yeah.
That's true. You can
Yeah.
You know, I mean
tell
that
tell
could
that
be.
to LeBron James.
That could be it. Like, I know-
3,000 calories.
Taco Tuesday.
I mean, to be fair, like even talking to BJ, like he's been
BJ,
telling me like
and
we're on
Anton too. They
opposite
eat like
we're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Where BJ's been like, if you want to lift, just eat more. That's all I've been doing. I'm eating more, and every time I work out with him, numbers keep going up, and like I'm at the in between where I'm like, okay, I want to lose. I want to lose my gut. I'm looking for the aesthetic first. So I'm like, let me lose weight, and if I take a hit in the numbers, I'll take the hit. But let me like
yeah, that's the balance.
Take the
Absolutely,
calorie out.
I've been there. I remember too. Like I remember I took a break from lifting for like for like a month, and like but I was eating more. Like I definitely gained some pounds, but I went back to lifting. I actually lifted more, and I agreed. I think B just right about that. Like it equals calories equal
it's fuel, man.
energy.
But
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
fuel.
as long as you use it, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, David? To throw the question to you,
Hmm.
fix the negatives or improve the positive? If you had to choose one, at this point in time in your life, if you had like one thing to pick, which one would you pick?
Yeah, I think I would be a Matt too. To be honest, like putting it in perspective, if I really had to choose, I would try to get rid of as many negatives as possible as I could, because at the end of the day, even if you increase positives, like even though that math makes sense where it negates it, you'll still have negatives, I guess. So if you could decrease as many negatives that hamstring, like bring you down, yeah, it makes sense.
True. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've always thought I guess it's weird for me because the way I thought of it is I view myself more in the negative than I do the positive. So I feel like I have more negatives to work on. So that's why
Because
I
you're a
was
big
like,
critic, though.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. But it's because I see that I have more negatives and I don't have enough positives that I could like almost overshadow those negatives. I'm like, all right, let me fix the negatives, and once I fix those,
That makes sense.
then I have it's like in an ideal world. Once I fix those negatives, then those positives will start to shine, and then I can be like, oh, okay, I'm good at this. This is what people like about me. This is something I could, get better at and really shine.
I like that.
So
I like
that's
that. I see
that's how
that
I kinda
logically
view it.
makes sense. Like mathematically makes sense.
What can I say? I'm
Breaking it
Asian.
down.
I'm into
There you go,
engineering now, so
There you go.
it just makes sense.
It just lines up. It just makes sense.
But to be fair, from the Twitter, because I made a Twitter poll about it, 42% agreed with us where we'd fix the negatives. 58% said they'd rather improve the positives.
Wow.
My vote might skew that. I think I might have voted on Twitter focus on positives.
But now you changed
That's what I'm
it.
doing now. That's what I'm doing now. But I didn't think about it in terms of like which one comes first, which one's the priority, all that. But I think this is a cool question, and I'd want to shed this to all of us. Is Pino Boyhoy asked, like, what are you focusing on right now? Like, if you're focusing on the positives, what are the positive things that you're focusing on right now? If you're focusing on fixing the negatives, what are those things that you're working on now? So I thought it'd be cool. I'll start because
I
he
like
asked
that.
me, but it'd be cool to go around and say what
I like
what
that.
are
Yeah, that's super cool.
so me, I think
Get
right
ready
now
to clip this and hold
I'm
us to it.
mainly focusing on the positives. My two big ones I would really say I'm focusing on is first off is like leadership. I think that's a super cool trait And the way I'm doing that is like I'm reading a lot of books. I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos on leaders. Aspect. I think the best way to learn from good leaders is, again, I think it's like reading books, learning from experience, and like looking back and figuring out what your own style is of leadership. So that's one thing that I think is huge, and something I want to start making the transition to in work as well, and everything else. I think there's a huge gap right now just in the world in terms of leadership. Especially when you start working, it's so apparent how crappy a lot of leadership really is.
Amen.
And to me, that makes it like I think I've always been good at it. So I want to make it one of my biggest strengths because I think that's going to differentiate me going forward. The second thing I'm working on is expressing myself because I think this is huge. I think if you can't express yourself, you can't do anything with what your thoughts are, how smart you are, anything like that. So I am doing that a couple different ways. I think the best way is like this podcast is a super great forum for that, where we can like express our thoughts, put them into words, and try to get better at that. And also just writing. I think those are the two main ways we can get better at expressing ourselves is communication through words and communication through like written words. They're both words, but so that's how I'm doing it. I'm trying to write twice a day. I'm trying to like actually post stuff on Twitter that means something, not just a random thought. I'm trying to like write stuff on Medium, things like that, where like has a little bit of impact. And for me, the thing that's hard about expressing yourself is twofold. It's like finding the right words, and the other is like the battle of confidence. Like, can you share your thoughts? And it's crazy how much how much room for improvement there is for me, and I think for everyone, and like truly expressing yourself. So for me, those are the two things that I'm working on. Those are the two positives that I'm trying to fix.
True. What about
Mark?
you, David? Do you have... Or, you want me to go? I can go.
Yeah, go for it, Mark.
Okay.
Go for it.
So I think for me specifically is... I guess it's more of... I guess it could be viewed either way, as fixing a negative or improving a positive. It's kind of working on my self-confidence. The reason I see it more as fixing a negative is because I have zero self-confidence in myself. To go back into like talking about the pressure of expectations, I feel like I've almost set the bar too high, where it's just crushing, where it's just like I'm never gonna reach this. Going back to my thought process of I'm never gonna be. I've thought about tweeting this, and I was like, I can't do this when I gotta like advertise my podcast and stuff. But I've always thought about like just like going through my thought process of I feel like all throughout my life I've always had the idea in my mind that I'm never gonna be blank enough, never gonna be good enough, never gonna be tall enough, never gonna be strong enough, never gonna be smart enough, and stuff like that. And just almost coming to terms with being like, that's okay. You don't have to be super intelligent. You don't have to be super tall. But that's what all the dating apps want. They don't want you to be super tall. But we'll get there eventually. Like you don't have to reach his expectations of other people, right? The biggest thing is you need to be okay with you being you. And once you get there, the game's changed. The game's completely changed. But you need to get to that point where you need to be okay with you being you. You don't need to be somebody else. You don't need to be the image that somebody else sees for you, right? Because that may not be who you want to be. That may not line up with who you would be happy with, right? So for me, that's kind of the big one, where it's just, what can I do to make sure that when I wake up in the morning, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, you ain't half bad. You're doing pretty good. So for me, that's what I'm working on. Is just getting my nil confidence to, we're not that bad.
So I think that's really awesome. I think it's super hard to do. My question to expound on it, Mark, or to push you to expand on that, is how are you doing it?
I guess the easiest is because for me, like working out is like a huge part of my life. I would say.
God bless
Like
you.
it takes like thanks. It takes like I'm willing to dedicate a lot into it, and like even just like dieting and stuff like that. So, I know. I guess for me, it's kind of getting to the point where I can look at myself in the mirror and be like, "Damn, you look fucking good." And unfortunately, like that's gonna require about, I think if I calculated it correctly, hopefully, losing 10 pounds, and I should be pretty juicy. But I definitely have caught myself where I'm like, let me post a picture, not to show off, but like a progress picture, because I hate that where I want to take a progress picture because like I see myself every day, so it's hard for me to see the difference of like, you know, where was I at, where am I at now, and just like let me just look at myself in the mirror and be like, you're pretty fucking attractive. So for me, it seems kind of vain, but almost if I can view myself, like literally look at myself physically and be like,
yeah,
like I look good, that will be my initial trigger to be like, all right, then let me look like subconsciously, personality and stuff like that. So I guess like that right now is my focus, is just the physical aspect of myself to jumpstart everything else.
David?
Escape
just
the
to
question.
make sure the question is, what are you working on? Like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what are the if you're focusing on fixing some negatives, what are those and how are you doing it? Or if you're focusing on improving positives right now, what are you focused on and how are you doing it? Or if you're not doing anything and you're like happy right now, that's awesome too. Like, how did you get there? Whatever.
Dang, yeah. I'm telling you, we're gonna feel that way when we're 80. But yeah,
Hopefully.
A negative I'm definitely focusing on right now, like when I was talking with someone, is I think growing up I've always had like an expectation of being perfect. Like it's just like one of those things that we've done growing up, and I think it's hard to admit to yourself that you have like such high expectations for yourself, and that like you take things so critically. Like the one time someone says like you're not good at something, like you're like, what do you mean I'm not good at something? Like, no, I'm decent at it at least. Like I'm not bad. I'm at least like 50%, 60% good at it.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's hard to, because like I think you're even saying it, Mark. You're just yourself, your own worst critic kind of thing. And I think it's getting to a point where you're like, hey, like it's okay not to be. You just have to be accepting of like, hey, it's okay. Like one of those, if you can find that happiness doing that, like that's what I'm working on. Definitely recent. I think you'll have a lot less stress on yourself. Like you'll be able to, just be happier. I would guess. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm working on.
Nice.
True. I feel like that's always tough. Like that self-acceptance, because you're always your harshest critic. And like I said, like you see yourself every day, so you don't really see it. It's hard to gauge your growth unless you do stuff like Matt, where you write things down, where it's almost quantitative, where it's just like, this is where I was at, and this is like, you can see like a side-by-side comparison. And that's I feel like that's such like an ongoing battle, and like I'm super looking forward to that moment where I can be like, man, I was so stupid thinking all these negative things. Like 80, once I came to that simple fact of acceptance of being imperfect.
50 more years.
That's it, man. We'll see you in
50 more years, man.
2069, baby.
2069. That's my year.
That's when we're peaking, boys.
In the calendar. That's
when we're peaking.
Peaking you.
So, David, I'd love to ask. This isn't easy because I think it becomes really hard because it's a mindset that you're trying to shift.
It's a mindset for sure.
So, how are you doing it? Like, what are the things that you can think about in your life that are,
I would say it's
working towards
catching. I would say it's catching yourself. Like if you find yourself, it really is like a mindset. Like you being aware of who you are, as a person, And it's hard to admit yourself, especially when you're always aiming for excellence. You're always trying to be like best.
The best. Mm-hmm.
To admit that you're at fault is like you never try to do that. But yeah, I guess just admitting to like number one, know you have a problem, right? And then two, it's just catching yourself in the moment where it's like, yeah, I might be not the world's best driver, or I might, take jokes too offensively or too personally sometimes. But it's just allowing yourself to realize like, hey, don't take it too seriously. Or it's like, it's not a criticism. It's just, we're like, it is what it is. That's facts, and it's facts.
I think that's...
It's easier said than done. I'm telling you, like, it's not like, I'm telling you, it's like a switch. It's an active mindset that you have to be going through, like, especially if you've been raised as like, most of us have been raised
the highest peak, man.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because I'm the exact opposite of you, where you're trying to be like, it's okay not to be perfect, but I see myself at the bottom where it's just like, I ain't even fucking worth it. But it's like no, you have good qualities. There are good things about you. We could get into it, but unfortunately, we are running a bit out of time.
I was like, I'm not gonna.
It's crazy, man.
Dang, this was definitely. By the way, I love this idea. But I appreciate you guys bringing me on, like as a catch up kind of thing. Like, I think this is awesome.
Like that's why I enjoy it. Like I hate the fact that it just goes by so quick, but it's so fun that time just kind of goes by, and unfortunately I'm trying to do the best I can, just keeping track of time, and we're a little over, but that's not bad. We kept some juicy conversations and stuff going, but
10-19, that's still good.
But before we end it, just a couple of shout outs like we do usually. Thank you guys who are tuning in live, whether you're here on Twitch, whether you're watching on YouTube. I know we had some issues with the YouTube stream, but when I checked when we were earlier, we should have been live. So I'm not 100% sure if we're still there. I hope we are. I'll find out soon if I have to basically re-upload this. But literally awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It really means a lot that people are watching this, that like people enjoy this, that people are willing to put their time into just like listening to us like talk. Like I feel like there are times where we just like we enjoy it as like us three catching up and talking about like good stuff like this. But it definitely like it means so much just to see like people are down to watch us. They're down to listen to what we're talking about. So seriously, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, David, for giving your time and stopping by, talking with us. Matt, as usual, thanks for co-hosting with me. Without you, this may just be a huge shit show of me just saying like 100 times.
You guys do a great job. I appreciate you bringing me on. I love you guys, seriously. You guys keep doing these things. It's great.
But if you're not already, so to let you guys know, those of you guys who are on Twitch, we're going to slowly try to transition to streaming onto YouTube. It is going to be some time before we fully make that transition. I want to make sure that, everything's working properly. So if you're still watching on Twitch, feel free, because we're still going to be streaming to both platforms. But just to let you know, we are going to try to make the full switch over to YouTube once everything gets settled and good to go. If you want to as well, follow us on Instagram. We are working on trying to post more content with the small bits we have, whether it's clips, whether it's small quotes from the podcast and stuff like that. Different ways to start your day. Maybe you're just dreading the Mondays and you just see something inspirational on Instagram. And for me, I feel like it's always nice to just like have some sort of positivity to get on the right foot. So follow us on Instagram at AlmostAwesome_IG. We are also looking for people to like make clips for the videos and stuff like that. While we are still going to be streaming on Twitch, I believe YouTube may have that capability. I haven't like checked into it too much, but I would still say that we're definitely still looking for someone or some people to assist with just getting like decent clips to, you know, show off to people that, hey, you know, we're doing a cool podcast, we're talking about interesting stuff, you know, come by and take a listen. But I believe that would be about it. Am I correct, Matt?
I think so. Again, I would just echo what you said. Like, thank you for everyone for tuning in. The chat, like, it's amazing to know that there's people out there that are watching, especially as we grow this thing. Thank you, David, like, so much. Like, it's awesome to catch up with you. It's awesome to have you on here. Thanks, like, for taking the time to, like, be here for the podcast and also, like, help us prep for it, being patient while we go through technical difficulties and all the setup. Like, it means the world that you're here to support us and that we didn't even have to take you out to dinner.
Yeah.
Right. I like
but
being that.
We don't gotta pay this guy. He's a
here.
freemium guy.
But you know, if we get to that point, we'll take you out to dinner.
Nah, I think the things that you guys do is always good to catch up.
So I think with that, we're ready for our conclusion. So in normal, actually, one more thing, David, we ask one thing to all of our guests before we go into conclusion. We ask them if they could see one person on the podcast or one guest that they'd love to have us feature, who would it be? So I want to pose that question to you. If there's anyone that you think to have.
Has Bryant Tan been on this yet?
No, he has not.
No.
I know someone I talked to recently mentioned it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I had
I think
some.
that's a good one. I was gonna say
I had some
Anton,
discussions,
that's
but-
too easy.
Three. That would be
Okay.
interesting. Brian Tan? That's your suggestion?
B10
Final
219.
answer?
Yeah, I would take Bryant
Final.
Tan.
That would be really interesting.
Okay.
We'll put him on the docket.
Okay. I like it.
Well, thank you, David. Appreciate the suggestion. So with that, we'll go into our conclusion. So as you guys all know, we let our guests close out the podcast with 1 minute or less, however they want to use the time, to close out their podcast in their own way. David, what I'll do is I'll pull up a timer on my phone and I'll just count you down. I'll give you like a 3, 2, 1, go. And
All right.
then I'll start the timer and the floor will be completely yours.
Oh, I guess before that, do you have any shout outs? Anything like if you would like people to like reach out to you, like if you're looking for deeper talks and just catching up with people, is there any way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, just look me up on IG, I guess, and slide into the DMs. As lame as that, it's _Davey_Jones. Yeah, love to connect. If you have anything you want to talk about, always down to make more friends.
There we go. Perfect.
Nice. All right. So with that, David, I hope you're ready. And
Yep,
we'll...
let's do it.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
I guess the way I would close off this podcast is, I guess the theme is, find what makes you happy and don't let anyone's expectations, take away your happiness. I think sometimes we get so concentrated on the don't think about what other people think about you, but in reality it's don't let other people affect your happiness. So I always think that it could be taken too far where if you're really smelly person and you don't have bad hygiene, I would want someone to tell me that, but in reality I think you should use it in a good sense of positivity, where it's like, if you have someone that's truly like just a negative person in your life that's hindering you and just bringing you down all the time and putting these unrealistic expectations on you, you don't need that in your life. And really find what makes you happy and stick with that. Take advice for people that you care about, that know that they want the best for you. That's stuff that you shouldn't ignore. Set high goals for yourself because you know your worth. And just, at the end of the day, as long as it makes you happy.
Boom.
All right, boys, and we're out. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.